Hi, good morning. So today I'm going to do a Sharpie marker sort of like under colouring of this Carnage sort of pencil sketch. I've done a line there because I'm going to end it there on that line and just do the top half, and I've left it really rough because I can just take a red pen, a red Sharpie, and start to add a lot of the base colour in. And this is a technique that I've seen on YouTube by other artists, by laying in just one colour all over the top, what needs to be red, although it is red and black this, but I can overlay the black later on. But anyway, I'm going to do like a time lapse thing and then probably talk over what I've done, and yeah, should be good, hopefully. So here we are, just used a basic red Sharpie marker as the base colour for this Carnage drawing. It doesn't really matter about the streaks that I left, you know, particularly when you're sort of colouring in that sort of way where you're joining up the lines, and that'll be covered anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. I've coloured the teeth over red just to give it a base colour, but they will be black. Looking back, I wish I'd just used a thinner black marker later on, but it's just the way I created the artwork. Just about laying in all the colour, all the basic base colour with this red. I attempted to just like leave the that hand till last, but I filled it in a bit later anyway, so and plus like the pencil line showed up through anyway, so I could see exactly where certain things was, like the hand, the important bit of the hand and things like that. I first saw this technique on a YouTube video. It was I forget the artist who did it, but it was of like a red skull from Captain America type of drawing, and it was really good the way that they did it and that. And I've just done like a quick first attempt at it because I've only I'd say this is the second little attempt, but this is the largest one that I've done, and I'm quite happy with the results. Some of my drawings I wish I'd just keep going really, so I leave it sort of towards the end, and I'm happy with it, but I think it needs a bit more work, and more detail and things like that. But it's a really good technique to use. I mean, Sharpie markers don't cost a lot, just to lay down that base colour. I'd like to try something else, maybe, I don't know, maybe some kind of goblin, or use the greens, because I've got some good green Sharpie markers to use as the base coat. So I don't know, just keep testing it out. That's all you can do. As I say, the streaks, I'm not really fussed about because they got covered up anyway, because I'll be overlaying with some polychromos pencils, so and there'll be black areas as well. Let's try and neaten that up there. I think I should have done more of the costume coming off the character. I just didn't want to make it too complicated, just in case some of them things sort of made the hand look a bit odd, so I only did a couple of pieces there. So now I'm just overlaying the black Sharpie marker in like key areas of the mask, which is the teeth, and sort of like halfway down the face really, and around them Spider-Man like eye shapes. The black really helps strengthen the the face and everything. That's the good thing about using this technique. overlaying and stuff. I mean, I never used to think about overlaying different pens and pencils and things like that. I just thought once you coloured them, and that's that, really. But if you can get away with overlaying a few materials, then I would. It looks quite good and quite effective. So you see me adding the black on the face now. It sort of brings the character to life, you know, without properly inking or anything like that. I'm trying to go for lines that are going to help bring about some of the muscle tone of the costume and things like that. So I'm going, you know, with the muscles on the arm there, and yeah, just try and help add a bit of depth to the drawing if I can. So yeah, I've got loads of these Sharpie markers, and you know, they look real good when you sort of do this technique. So I'll be doing this way of working a bit more in the future, and hopefully try and improve at it, because there's ways that I can probably fine tune things and not seem like I'm rushing or things like that. And yeah, thinking about it, I'm looking at the drawing now while I'm, you know, speaking over this, and I can see areas of improvement that would make the drawing pop even further, really. But you know, just by adding extra details and things, you know, things like that to it. But you know, you can only do what you do at the time. So I've still got the drawing, so I can add bits to it here and there, and you know, things like that. I like to do real cool backgrounds as well. I'm just like currently figuring out how to do that with possibly watercolours. I don't know, and maybe airbrushing and things like that. Absolutely thinking about it, because leaving it white in the background is okay, but it doesn't seem like a proper illustration if I don't do the background. I went a bit overboard with all them black sort of areas there, but later on I sort of like highlight it a bit. I'm just adding a darker red now, just to separate them fingers, you know, from the chest there, and you know, a bit of shading here and there. Try and create like darker reds against all the, you know, black lines that I've done as well. You know, try and add a lot of shadowed areas there with this dark red pencil. There's the polychromos Faber Castell. I'm gonna need to get a lot more, I reckon, because I'm using them quite a lot lately, together with my Copic markers on other drawings and things. So yeah. So it just helps define the muscles and everything, and any like chest, you know, muscles and arm muscles, I can define them a bit further, you know, with this like tone that's darker than the red that I just laid down. So it's easier to add like highlights later on, or you know, things like that. So I used to get quite a lot of Spider-Man comics in my youth, sort of thing, and Carnage was a favourite character, as well as Venom, and you know, I used to love them comics coming out, and you know, things like that, and trying to draw them characters and things like that. In fact, I used to draw every minute of the day that I could. Even when I was at school, I used to just draw, and you know, I used to be in lessons that I didn't do drawing, but I just drew anywhere. You know, it's like every class book that I had, science book or all like that, it's got drawings on it. You know, I haven't really got them books anymore or anything, but it would have been nice just to, you know, flick through, and there's a lot of empty back pages that I just draw stuff on, and then exercise books, and then the teacher would just flip them up and go, "What the hell is this?" And I'd just laugh and then possibly get sent out. Yeah, just love drawing really. So I'm just adding like a pink, I think it's a flesh colour it's called, just to add some more highlights there, just to raise it all out a bit. Yeah, just really, I've got a lighter pink which I do a bit later, but it just looked like this pink, so I didn't use it as much. But you can see some of them areas that are looking a bit more pinker. So I could have done with a bit more black here and there. So it's finished, and it's sort of not finished, but I'm just gonna straighten up some of these teeth and make them a bit more sharper where I can. Should have actually done that with this ink pen. I could have made it a bit more sharp looking, but oh well. But I do like the overlays of these polychromo pencils over that. You can create more muscle form here and there without inking all that in. Yeah, it's quite a good little experiment. And if you do need to ink any lines over, then you can. Do some extra ink lines. Extend some of this black. Do like thin strands of the costume. Just here and there. I quite like this actually. It turned out not too bad. Let's carry on doing lots of little details, I suppose. I think the heavily coloured areas like that, where I've pressed hard over, you can't really, you know, draw with these little ink pens over the top. But some spaces I can, which that's more important. But yeah, I think adding these small details just help as well. And it's good that you can do that as well. Yeah, not too bad. I'll definitely be doing more of this type of work where I can overlay lots of layers and stuff, because it's something that I've never done before, and it looks quite effective if you know like a lot of the light and shadow aspects of a drawing. Yeah, not bad for a first attempt. Yeah, it's turned out okay. You can see a lot of them colours up close. I used like the pinks, and I think it was an ivory or a cream colour just to do some highlights. It possibly needs a bit more work, but I could probably do that another time. But for now, that's okay. The head's a bit misshapen, but I could straighten that out. Yeah. So I'm going to leave that vlog today there, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers now.